coaching this generation's real estate superstars.
And number 8, know the difference. And for some of you guys, you're going to be like, I've known this for years. Know the difference between pre-qualified and pre-approved. Okay, can somebody tell me succinctly what is the difference?
A pre-approval means they've done all the paperwork, meaning they've brought in their pay stubs and all the required documents for the loan, and the only thing that we're looking for is a property and getting an appraisal. A pre-qual means that they talk with someone, maybe on the phone, gave them their social security, and based on what they just see on the credit report, then they can buy it. They haven't actually brought all the documents to prove their standing.
Well put. The pre-qual is a simple conversation. Might have even only been with a realtor, right? Maybe an open house agent said, well, based on what you say you make and what you say your credit is, you ought to be able to buy this. Some people start looking at that point, don't they? Now, this isn't necessarily just for your buyers, because you all know better, right? Okay, you know the difference between pre-qual and pre-approved. But on your listings, if somebody brings you something and they say, oh, the buyer's pre-approved, maybe they are, maybe they're not. Know the difference. Know who you're dealing with, right? So I'm going to give you a super quick, even a little slightly more detailed version of this. Quick guide to knowing the difference, but you did a great job on that. Pre-approval, approval, underline, pre-merge credit. Okay, not just the one credit score that happens to be the fluky high score, right? The ratios have actually been checked. These are the things you've got to ask the lender, whether it's your buyer or someone else's. Pre-merge credit, ratios are checked, employment is verified. They don't just say they have a job, they actually have one. The down payment has been checked, actually exists, and is adequate to buy this house, okay? And it's not contingent on anything except appraisal and finding the house. That's okay, okay? So, pre-qualified, simple conversation, basically meaningless, okay? Although buyers don't know the difference, they may come to you and say, oh yeah, I'm pre-approved, but they're really only pre-qualified because they don't know the difference. Yet another reason to have what in the office? A buyer presentation where you talk about these things. What if you educated the buyer and they said, my gosh, I didn't realize I have to be pre-approved. I thought I was. And you were the one that told them that and got them by sign a buyer agency. Now you've educated them. Now they're going to use you for that sale. Okay? All right, good. So next, right now you have to have, at all times, at least 3 AAA buyers signed to buyer agency contract at all times. To make the money that I know all of you guys desire to make and to help the people you need to help, at least 3 signed to buyer agency. Okay? In this market, buyer agency contracts are worth as much and in some cases more than signed listing contracts. Why? You guys said it in the beginning, because you get paid faster. That's what we all want, right? Okay? So start looking at the buyer agency contract the way you look at listing contracts. Some of you may have signed listing contracts in your inventory that the houses actually aren't even ever going to sell. I mean, let's be honest here. All right, so 3 AAA active buyers. Well, what's a AAA active buyer? Let's define that. A, an active buyer is someone who acts immediately when you call them on a property. Ever called about a great house, you know exactly what they want, you call them, oh my gosh, this one just came up on the market, but they don't call you back? Like, they could care less, right? And you're all juiced up because you're going to sell a house today, oh my gosh, right? But they don't call you back. That's not an active buyer. That would be an inactive buyer, right? Causing you to be an inactive agent on that day. So be very careful with this. B, active buyers have, here it is again, signed the buyer agency contract, okay, and your state agency agreement. And after you learn how to do the presentation, a net sheet showing them that, yes, indeed, you, Mr. Buyer, will have buyer closing costs, which, through the education in your presentation, you can explain to them. In some cases, we can get the seller to pay that for you. Okay? C, they must be working on or be close to completion of the mortgage process. Okay? Working on or be close to completion. In other words, they're responding, they're being active to the mortgage person. D, if the buyers have a house to sell, they have it listed with you, or are pre-approved to buy without the sale. This is how we define an active buyer, a AAA buyer, the kind for which you need to have 3 signed up at all times to make the money you desire to make right now. You guys feeling better or worse about buyers?
Yeah.
All right, good. Do you feel like when you learn this and you follow the 7-step process and you learn how to present to them and get it signed, that you will make more money or less?
More.
more. And will you stop believing things like buyers are liars, I'm just a taxi driver, they'll never close, side calls stink, I don't want to waste my time. What else? I mean, do you guys see how that is faulty thinking in this market? If you continue to choose to think that way, you are choosing to make less money than you deserve.